you know, why I've come here today to document this, and just to, you know, a quick one, two Arthur's history.
Yeah, I think what has happened is that the British and the Roman people have a common origin. They both originated in Troy. Aeneas comes from Troy to Rome, and he sets up Rome. But in the same way, the Trojans migrated into Britain, but they didn't come in 1200 BC because the Trojan War was 638 BC. Once you get that right, so you've got people of common origin. Now Brutus is the son of Aeneas. He comes over to Britain. This is not fiction and fairy tales, it's fact. It's fact. Our ancestors are not the only people on planet Earth who all sit down and combine together to produce a bogus history. They produced a history and record it and record it and repeat it because it's correct. And you can trace these people once you realise you're looking at around 640, 650 BC, not 1200. Now, we're not responsible for 19th and 18th century idiots who guessed the Trojan War to be between 1400 and 1200 BC. It didn't. It's 638. If you do some real research, you can track it down. Because otherwise you've got, and then nobody did anything in Rip Van Winkle land for 500 years. That didn't happen. So getting the Trojan War dated is crucial. It relates to a founder of Britain, Brutus, Britannia, Brutus. And so Christianity then came into Britain, because the Holy Family were kinsmen of the British. As you can trace the whole thing right the way back. And once you trace all the way back, following alphabet, and you see, we've got ancient inscriptions in Britain, but the same ancient inscriptions in the same text, we say, are in Italy, all over the place. Etruscan they call them, and up into Switzerland. And the same inscriptions can be found further east, into Mesopotamia. Well, the Brits preserved the key, the cipher. They said, that's an A, that's a B, that's a C. This is lovely. And they also preserved the language. It happens to be Cymric Welsh. Now you can translate all the untranslatable, unreadable Etruscan writings quite simply by using the British ABCs and the Welsh language. Now it's a bit archaic and you have to be careful because words do get spelled slightly differently over the centuries. But going back to 1500 is about right, okay, you get it. And so we've been reading Etruscan, which is unreadable. Of course, we're not supposed to be able to do that. And we've been reading Pelasgian and other stuff further east. Because it's identical alphabet in Britain, the Far East, and Italy. Identical alphabet. No, nothing similar. And the language is the same. And really and truly, fundamental to our research is the language and the alphabet. Because once you can establish these things, you can establish dating correct. Trojan War is not 1200 BC, that's ridiculous, because it means meaningless. None of the characters are traceable, none of that. You put it as about 630, 640 BC, and suddenly they all come to life, they all spring out of nowhere, you know. Rome is founded by a grandson of Aeneas of Troy, and well, Aeneas of Troy did founded Rome, and Brutus and that. They all date around 600 BC, not 1200. And once you get this right, everything comes right. And it goes further because the Welsh were writing in around 1825, 1857, and 1870. Welsh were saying, if you want to read the Egyptian hieroglyphs, use the Welsh language. Of course, nobody wants to do that. I mean, can you imagine the English in Oxford, Cambridge, and London did lowering themselves to the cellar and the gutter of using the Welsh language? My God! But if you use the Welsh language, you can read the Egyptian hieroglyphs. It can teach you to do it in a day. It's a piece of cake.
And then by using the Colwyn script, you get slightly different.
Well, you see the object and you look for the Welsh word for it. And usually it's the first syllable.
And you get slightly different
and
meaning.
You put them together and you've got a word.
And you get different meaning.
You've got a word.
Interpretation.
Out comes words. They leap out at you. And it's consistent. So we've been reading the hieroglyphs perfectly. Champollion did not decipher the hieroglyphs. He's a con merchant. And everyone after him is a con merchant. But if you want to read them perfectly, get the dates right, just use the Welsh language. It's a piece of cake. If you see a cake, you know it's Titian. You know it's T.I. Titian lapis is a cake. That sort of cake. They used to make it on a flat plate. Like a bake stone they used to call it, a metal plate. My mother had one. Make Titian lap.
Is that right with you?
It was ancient Welsh cake, ancient Welsh cake, Titian lap. Well, it gives you T.I. T.I. means you or thou art. The first syllable. And it works perfectly. You can read all the Egyptian stuff in English. A teacher is doing it.
That you have the books in whatever you sell, give out more than 25%.
No, 50%.
50.
Got to be.
Even split.
If we're going to go down the board, let's
Go down the middle. Let's go down the middle.
So if you put them in a shop, they won't do that.
We're not going to put it on the shop. We'll do online shops. Because I run the server.
We'll go 50-50.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
25, sorry, 50.
Whatever.
50, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted
I
to.
thought you might be going to shops, that's all.
Tony, can we finish this?
All right, all right.
I got just one. This is the last bit, and then I'm done. And I just
All
wanted
right,
to.
got a black at 25%.
It's crazy, isn't it, what I'm saying?
No, it's absolutely, truly
Etruscan is
astounding,
untranslatable
and it's,
in
it's,
Italy.
it's incredibly
Sorry,
fascinating.
we've done it, but we should be world famous. Right? It should be. Now we find the same alphabet in America. Ha ha. Oh ho. And did Maddox sail to America? You bet he did.
And
You
just,
bet he did.
And again, I just for anybody who'd be interested in watching, I just wanted to confirm for people because it's still quite, quite a mind-boggling thing, and that is essentially that the legend of King Arthur
Yeah.
is actually a very easy to verify and
Yes.
clearly chronicled absolute history
Yes.
of lineage that existed and is
Yes.
part of our history, and that
Yes.
is the fundamental crux of that.
That's
is truth.
fundamental. Brutus was real, and he came here as a founding king, and all the others are real. We kept our records of who was who, father, son of the royal family, and that perfectly accurately. Now, otherwise, we'd be the only country on earth that has a totally bogus, massive, invented, false history, which is the allegation which is really being made. And I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't always denigrate anybody. I mean, if it works, don't fix it is my motto. But it was done to shore up the fact that the English kept running out of kings. They had to bring the Tudors in from Wales, and then the Tudors ran out, and they went to marry the Stuarts. So they got the Stuarts from Scotland, and they ran out of steam. So they've got a Dutchman, William of Orange, over, and he ran out of steam. He didn't have any kids, so they brought the Germans in, and Hanoverians. Well, that's not our problem. But it is the problem, and it's a problem for the British nation because they decided to write a history that would suit the royal family. To hell with the people, who cares about that? So either the English and the Welsh have got the greatest historical forgeries in the universe, not just on planet Earth, or they've got accurate histories. We find our histories to be perfectly accurate.
I'm just saying why there's paranoia on the part of the so-called spooks and that.
Yes.
It wouldn't, in fact, it wouldn't make no difference.
Does that
Even
make
the
sense?
old Ethelbert,
That's
the
what it's about.
earliest kings.
They
isn't it?
chucked the history of the
Well,
business to
it's
support the royal
Christian
family.
stuff.
They were frightened of the American Revolution, they were frightened of the French Revolution. And they didn't want republics here, so they chucked the history out to support the royal family. Very simple.
Was it dated the 20?
I don't
22nd.
know idea, I don't know what day of the week it is.
22nd
22nd of August.
of August.
2017.
I'm getting told now.